Hi everyone, I'm Nick Peters with Deeper Waters Apologetics. As always, please like and subscribe and leave a comment below if you'd like to, and I affirm a virgin birth. I'd like to continue talking about Aspergers on here and what it's like being in this position where you're diagnosed with Aspergers and you live with it. The thing I'm talking about now is social interactions, why they're so difficult. One thing, we don't really pick up social cues on the spectrum that much. So, if you're trying to clue us into something, we're not going to notice it. It's extremely difficult for us to catch on to things. You know how it's a joke that if a girl can be flirting with a guy and a guy can miss it entirely? Multiply that by 1,000 times for us. Also, as much as I love using sarcasm, I have a very difficult time detecting when someone is being sarcastic. See, when social interaction starts, my mind immediately keeps going with, okay, what am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to say? And usually filled with ideas that I've seen from other people, or maybe shows I've watched, movies, things of that sort, to try and give me some clue as to how to react. And in my world, before I really speak to you, I have to trust you. I have to know you. I have to know where you're coming from and why you're saying what you're saying. If I don't, then I view you with suspicion, especially if you come up to me and you're being immediately super friendly. That puts me on my guard immediately. There have been times I can go to a grocery store checkout lane and I'm behind someone. I'm trying to indicate to them, hey, can you hand me one of those barriers so I can start pouring my groceries up and separate them from yours? And I know how to say the words, but for some reason I can't say them. I just end up making motions with my hands trying to get them to notice things, and if they don't, I'm stuck. I just wait until they pull forward and I do things on my own. And I can go through a checkout line without saying a word, just simply nodding, maybe smiling, something of that sort. It's common for me. I'd prefer to do that if at all possible, even. It's just the way I am. And we all watch constantly for people being fake. If there's a question I really hate being asked in public, it's when people ask, how are you? Because I find most people, when they ask that, they really don't care. At least I don't think they do. They don't really want to know. If I opened up and there was a rough day saying, gosh, I'm so glad you asked. I'm absolutely miserable today. They wouldn't know what to say. Me, it's just a fake question. I want to start talking about subject matter. And that's the big thing for us. We want to have something to talk about that's specific. When my wife and I used to live next door to my parents, they would sometimes say, you know, you all can come up and see us anytime you want to. You don't need an invitation or anything. Well, we didn't. And our reason was very simple. You need to give us a time you want us to come, and you need to give us a reason why we are coming and what we are doing while we're there. Other than that, we don't know what's going on. We need some clear subject matter. If you talk to me and you're doing what's called small talk, I absolutely hate it. It's not about anything important. When I call my parents on the phone, it's not small talk, it's to talk about subject matter. It could be something dumb or silly or a joke, but it's subject matter still. When it's done, I'm done talking. That's it. And my own mother has often said, you know, you should just call sometime. Yeah, I probably should, but the thing is, if I don't have anything to talk about, I don't call someone. So when we communicate, we are communicating because we have something to say. We do not communicate just for the sake of communicating. That doesn't really make sense. And I know there could be some people out there that are different, but for me, that's the way it is. And I also agree with you, Ross. I would rather stand up and speak to a crowd of 100 people than go and speak to just one person. Especially if I have to initiate conversation. Done it before, but when I do it, it's always a stretch. It's nothing I really care for. And confronting people online, talking to the internet, that is much easier than doing so in person. It's just the nature of the beast. It's the way it is. So if you're trying to communicate with me, for instance, you need to find out the things that I'm interested in and talk about those first. That can start getting me to warm up to you, and it shows me you've made some serious investment in trying to establish a relationship because you've chosen to take the time to see what matters to me, and I value that. And that's the thing we're looking for. We're looking for people who are real. And if we think you're real, we will give you our trust. And you have to do something pretty drastic to lose that trust. But if you do lose that trust, it's extremely hurtful for us many times. For me, maybe not so much. For my wife, it would be absolutely devastating. But again, that's how we're different. She is a much more relationally oriented person than I am. That's all I think I'm going to say right now on social interaction and Aspergers. So please remember, like, comment, subscribe. For now, I'm Nick Peters. I affirm a virgin birth, and I'm signing off.